more often. Welcome to Pink Sock Podcast, guys. I have the main effing man. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I am, as he said, the main effing man, D.A. Morris, your MVP. That is Mon Valley Pro Wrestling Masters Champion. How's everybody doing tonight?
So, did you get the whole idea? Well, I don't know if it's your idea, but did you guys as a whole come up with the whole idea of Black Sheep Society through Bullet Club as on your shirt? Or was it like an NWO crossover with Bray, like the Wyatt family? Or what was.
All right, because I can't go into too much detail about it for personal manners. I was a part of a different group under a different name. Some things happened, some people got let go, and we had to change things up. Well, I pitched a name called the Broken Bone Society, which I no. Like you've heard of the like the Skull and Bone Society kind of thing, like so. But the guys I'm in the group with were already doing a tag team called the Black Sheep. So we just decided to blend everything together, and what do you know? It's just working out wonderfully. I think it's great. It's really got my creative juices flowing, and couldn't be more happy with it.
Speaking of the Black Sheep Society, we was going to talk some wrestling tomorrow, but we're going to talk wrestling now too. And I'm sorry for the non-fans of wrestling, but sometimes we talk wrestling, sometimes we don't. But like, I'm going to get into something with you. Black
All right.
Society is a great group and shit, but what is the best groups in wrestling history?
Oh, see that's a tough question because you got the horse.
When I say groups, let me specify. Okay. 3 or more members, not tag teams, but 3 or more members. So the Fabulous Freebirds, Four Horsemen, like any threes. Now, that will dispute whether or not the Dudleys count because they started off as a 5-man group and they even ended up with 3. So technically, they were also a trio.
True. It's very hard to say because, excuse me, as you pointed out, you got the Horsemen.
Yes.
You know, the guys who pretty much invented the whole thought of top guys coming together, forming a group and running this bitch.
And to add to what you're saying, the Four Horsemen lasted throughout society too, because when they started, they was just that. They were the top guys coming together. Towards the end, they were guys in management taking over.
It's just hard to say because you had the Horsemen. The NWO at one point got way too big. Too many people, too large, obviously, but they still count. You can't deny that they were important. Yeah, DX, Ninja Turtles. I'm kidding.
Bro, not to interrupt you, but DX. Most people don't realize this, but there's 3 versions of DX. There is the DX that started when I was first introduced to them because it's weird. I started watching wrestling in 2005, but I watched old school wrestling more than the modern era, but I watched it all. So I was watching each and every week, but in between that, I was such a wrestling fan that I was watching the old shit too. So I was in DX before they reunited. So like the first DX was Rick Rude's DX.
You could say that he was a part of it, absolutely. At least, for a cup of coffee.
At first, he was a big part of it.
Honestly, if you think about what DX represents to people now, he sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, he does, but like he was like a big part of it. Even like he might not have been a big part of the success, but he was a big part of the early days.
Yeah, and you can't talk about DX without talking about China.
Exactly. And that was Rick Rude's kind of era of DX. Was China was brought in, Triple H.
A lot of people could say like you could cut Rude almost completely out and just view like China, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels as DX, as the OG DX.
Yeah, in a way. Like what I meant is like when you talk about like when I mean Rick Rude era, the lineup kind of changed after Rude left. So you had the original DX, which was Triple H. And actually, Rick Rude came a little later because it started off when Triple H and Shawn started teaming up with the New Age Outlaws.
No, that is not true. It started with Triple H, Shawn Michaels, China, and Rude, as you mentioned.
Oh,
Rude
yeah,
left.
I forgot about that. Shit.
Right. Rude left to WCW. Then it was just the three of them. And then Michaels, after losing the world title to Steve Austin at WrestleMania, went into retirement for several years. And Triple H the next night brought in X-Pac, brought in the New Age Outlaws.
I love talking to you because, like, my memory gets a little fuzzy, so I like to be caught back up on my history because I don't like. It's not that I don't like to be wrong. I know I'm wrong a lot. I like to be corrected because I like to know my history. I hate when people are like, "Oh yeah, that might have been how it was." No, like fucking.
Yeah, I'm a wrestling history nut. If there's wrestling history to be learned, I try my best to learn it.
Well, from what I was remembering is like, and now that you're saying it, it does jog my memory. But did Rude ever wrestle with DX, or was he their manager?
No,
him as their manager.
He was more their manager because he was retired at that point due to his back injury. Mm-hmm. But he, from what I know, around the time that he died, he actually was thinking about getting back in the ring.
He was actually retired by Sting.
Yeah, injuries happen, and it really sucks when it does. But
we're not Bret Hart here. We're not going to blame anybody for an injury. It happens in wrestling.
I'm not touching that one. I ain't touching that one.
Dude, I love Bret, but I heard an interview with so many people that they're like, oh, Bret loves to smoke pot. And when he gets high, he loves talking about the night Goldberg ended his career. Like it always comes up every time he gets high.
And I don't blame him because the dude was considered one of the best wrestlers of all time, was the top guy in every place he went. And then he got injured by somebody who, in all honesty, when it comes to technical in-ring ability and all that, couldn't lace his boots.
Oh, he couldn't, but like the kick was what the be-all end-all, yes, but Bret had a history of concussions up to that point.
True. And actually, fun fact, the kick wasn't even the last match he had. His last match, I believe, was a hardcore match against Terry Funk.
Yeah, he said in an interview, he's admitted to it multiple times, but he still blames Bret. He still blames Goldberg. Sorry. He says he's been saying that, like, yes, the kick sucked, but it's my own fault for continuing to wrestle through concussions. He's like, I've always done that in my career. And that kick, whether it happened or not, my career probably would have been over anyway.
I've been lucky so far to not suffer anything too bad on my head. Knock on wood. But I have seen plenty of guys get knocked for a loop, and it's scary. It really is scary.
You know what happens when you get knocked for a loop too many times in the wrestling business?
My guess is you start talking like Mike Tyson.
There's no holding me back. I'm not driven by.
That's one second. I gotta step up. That is so messed up, bro. So messed up, bro. No, bro. You didn't just do that, bro. You didn't just do that, bro.
Sorry. Sorry. We're still getting over that.
That's a whole episode on its own, bro. Like,
you know what's crazy is it's hard for me, and people have come at me for this, but like, hear me out. Logically think logically with no judgment, right? Chris Benoit should not be as demonized as he is after we had found out that wasn't the brain of a fucking normal human being. He was a 90-year-old Alzheimer's patient by that point. Should we destroy his entire legacy because of brain trauma?
See, that's where there's a really big gray line, because you don't want to praise a man for doing something like, because what he did was awful. Nobody's saying it wasn't.
Yeah, but did he know what he was doing? Was that?
But see, that's the big question. was he aware, and how soon after everything happened he was aware. So there's so much gray there. It's like, could you really demonize somebody who wasn't in their right mind, didn't even realize what they were doing? It's hard to say, because at the same time, yes, you don't want to plaster him as this great hero when he did such a horrible thing, but at the same time, if he's not in his right state of mind, is it really our place to judge? It's a very hard thing to say one way or the other.
Well, I'd like to raise another question. WWE is worried about having a murderer in their Hall of Fame.
They got a few.
However, not to name any names, but he was the William Shatner of the wrestling world.
Heck, you could even say Rey Mysterio has killed somebody, even though that wasn't Rey Mysterio's fault. But
it wasn't William Shatner that killed his wife. It was that dude that played Austin Powers' dad that supposedly killed a man, Robert Wagner.
Really? Because, like, I love him in Batman.
Allegedly. This is all alleged. I'm just some stoner on the internet. But allegedly, he offed his old lady and got away with it. Kind of like Jimmy Snuka.
But if we're going to go there, do you blame Rey Mysterio? Because, like I mentioned, somebody he wrestled in the ring died during one of their matches.
No, because you can't blame a performer for an accident that happens during a performance. It was not ill intent. It's not like Rey Mysterio went in there and said, "I'm going to kill this dude."
True. He ain't New Jack.
Yeah. Now, New Jack on the other...
Yeah, there's no defending New Jack. He knew what he was doing.
There's a New Jack and then there's a Rey Mysterio. That's the spectrum of murders in the ring. How bad was this dude's death? Was it a Rey Mysterio or like a New Jack? Like that kind of sucks though.
That's the new scale.
Like what? That's sad though with Ray, dude, because that's on your conscience, but it's not your fault.
True. Right now, his son, by the way, and just saying this, Dominic Mysterio is the luckiest son bitch on the planet.
He gets to kiss those two.
He's legitimately married to a beautiful woman. I've seen pictures of his wife. She's a very gorgeous woman. He gets Rhea Ripley as an on-screen love interest, and now Liv Morgan as the guy doesn't need the world title. He's won at life, especially if he ends up with both of them, which is how I would book it, to be honest with you, but I'm not the one in charge. Could you imagine if he come out with both of them on his arms? Oh my gosh.
Him and his old lady must be in an open relationship, or she's the most non-insecure person I've met.
Well, you got to understand that just like with acting, you're playing a character on television. That doesn't mean that's how he is in real life. So she might understand that. So
my question is though, bro, is how much does Rey Mysterio look like his dad? Am I right?
You mean Dominic? Yeah. R.I.P. Eddie.
He looks just like Eddie.
Even with the mustache, he's doing it on purpose, and I love it. It's so good.
He's doing it on purpose, and I've seen some of the wrestling trolls out there saying him and Rhea Ripley is just ripping off China and Eddie. Is it
Life's a circle, bro? Life's a circle. Is it
an ode to Eddie? Yes, most definitely. Is it a tribute? Yes. But Dominic ain't going out there, Viva la Raza, and coming out doing
driving the lowriders and shit. Yeah,
he's subtly paying homage to his dad. This is the longest living wrestling storyline I've ever fucking seen.
It's great. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's legit great.
This is a pushing on 20-year-old storyline, bro.
That's what I mean. Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, custody of Dominic ladder match 2. Make it happen.
Dude, I did this AI image and it gave me cold chills and it made me sad at the same time. AI aged Eddie Guerrero for me to look like what he would look like now. And
that's sad.
And I created a WrestleMania match. Dominic and Eddie versus Ray and Andrade at WrestleMania.
Oh, dude, Chavo. You should have made it Chavo.
Oh yeah,
Chavo and Ray versus Eddie and Dom. That would have been great.
fucking Los Guerreros get back together at the very end of the match, and then Chavo betrays Eddie, and then Eddie has his final match at WrestleMania.
We can only dream. We can only dream.
Can we talk about how everybody, when they say best workers in the world, you think of your Ric Flairs. You think of your like Eddie fucking Guerrero till the end.
I think of me. Because I am the greatest. I'm the main effing man.
You're one of them now, but I mean, like in the past.
I'm sorry, but I have to give it to superstar Billy Graham. May he rest in peace. Because without the superstar in living color, because when he walked down the street, kings and queens, they step aside. Every lady he meets, he stays satisfied. He was this superstar in living color, daddy. And without superstar Billy Graham, there would have been nothing.
If he wouldn't have had two bad hips and a bad back by the 80s, he would have been Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan legit said he ripped everything he was from superstar Billy Graham.
Like, if it wasn't for Billy Graham, now that you brought that up, if it wasn't for Billy Graham, you wouldn't have your fucking Dusty Rhodeses. You wouldn't have your Muhammad Ali. He took a lot of his quotes. You wouldn't have most people. I like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Nobody in the ring is quicker than me was originally a superstar Billy Graham quote.
I can't remember if Superstar took that from Muhammad Ali or which way it came. I do know that, especially if you look at Hogan by the time he was in the early 2000s with the way his tights were in the red and yellow, the long red and yellow tights, straight up superstar Billy Graham.
Yep.
Straight up.
Billy Graham's, though, was purple and I think yellow, but it was the same exact tie-dye design.
Superstar Billy Graham was any color he freaking felt like. But like you said, it was all tie-dyed, it was bright, it was colorful. He was the first one to talk about the pythons and calling people brother and daddy and all them. That was Superstar. That was the Superstar.
What I love about Superstar Billy Graham the most is he could call a man daddy, and it doesn't feel sexual.
Oh, yeah.
He's like,
if anything, it sounded threatening.
I'm coming at you, daddy. Huh.
I'm gonna come get you, daddy, and I'm gonna put you in the headlock, brother. I'm gonna show you why the Superstar is number one, daddy.
Did he actually have a lisp like Dusty Rhodes?
It was slight, but I don't. Excuse me. It was slight, but I don't think it was as bad as Dusty's. But Dusty Rhodes, straight up, all of Dusty, the way Dusty talked was just like Superstar Billy Graham.
Well, Dusty said he drew influence from him, but he was more Southern. And
oh, absolutely.
And you know, Dusty Rhodes was invited to the barbecue. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, in my personal opinion, there's two professional wrestlers you can pretty much trace almost anything back to, and that is the original Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers, or even farther back, you can do Gorgeous George as like the originator of the pretty hair, the robes, the fancy, and then you got Superstar Billy Graham, who like updated everything into what you saw from the late 70s into the 80s. And then Steve Austin changed everything with the 90s being that, authority hating, middle finger flipping, beer drinking son of a bitch. And I'm not saying that a lot of that wasn't lifted from ECW, but he was the one who made it worldwide.
You saw my mouth going towards the microphone, and I was going to be like, you talking about Sandman?
Yeah, I know. Sandman's... Like, you know how many royalty checks Sandman probably deserves at this point in his life?
The Sandman, though, I'm not saying he was better. I'm just saying he seemed more threatening if you watched 90s ECW. He would come out wielding a fucking kendo stick and alcohol going through the crowd to fucking enter Sandman by Metallica.
Like, legitimately, the best way you can describe Sandman, or at least that character at that time when he started doing all that, was he was your dad who would sit there, drink beer, watch wrestling, go, "Oh, I could kick their ass." But he actually got up and did it. And if you watch his technical in ring stuff, it's horrible. He couldn't,
It
but
was fun to watch.
he had them, man. He had them by the palms of his hands, and the crowd embraced him as this drunk, cane swinging, beer drinking, cigarette smoking son of a bitch who wore freaking pajamas and sweatpants, and he didn't give a shit what he looked like because he knew he was a bad motherfucker.
He started off though as like a Surfer Sting type character.
Yeah, he was the Sandman from the beach and shit. He came out with a surfboard and everything. It was.
When did that switch happen? That had to have been really confusing to the audience because he quit coming out to like surfer music and then bam, like, what the fuck's going on?
I'm sorry, but you could not, like, the stars aligned with that whole thing because when Metallica came out with Enter Sandman, and like you couldn't ask for a better combination.
Bro, though the scariest motherfucking theme song ever, and you can fight me on this, I'll fight you. You fucking standing in the ring and you hear that journey with me into the mind of a maniac. You know shit's gonna go down. That was fucking New Jack's ECW theme, bro. Like you're like,
Oh yeah, like when you started hearing Natural Born Killers, you knew like, oh shit was going down.
Somebody might die tonight. Like that's.
But and like he even, I've seen his interviews where he's like, the reason they played my music is it's supposed to be a fight scene.
Yeah.
Like they played music through the whole match, and it was just like you could tell the crowd was just into it, man.
In his entire ECW career, did New Jack ever have a real announced match? Like he's had a lot of matches, but did he have a lot of like announced?
When he was tagging, yes. When he went solo, it was pretty much like if there was a beatdown going on, New Jack was showing up. It was either New Jack or Sandman.
The only matches I remember seeing him in was when somebody was like in the ring talking shit about somebody else, or like nobody could kick my ass, and then out comes their version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yes, I compared New Jack he was the Black Stone Cold. Like a VCW, wasn't he?
New Jack, it's really hard to. New Jack was just New Jack. I can't compare him to anybody else because he never bent a knee to fit anybody's mold. He said, "I am who I am. You're paying for who I am, and I ain't changing that." And not a lot of people in this business have made a living who can say that I've never changed anything about what I was in the ring to fit any. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. From the second he showed up in Smoky Mountain and USWA and all them places, he was the original gangster. He was New Jack.
It's sad that not much has come of Mustafa.
Whatever you do, do not smoke pencil shavings. You'll end up getting arrested naked, screaming at the cops. You're trying.
Did that happen to him?
Yes.
Whew, okay, no wonder.
I recommend watching New Jack's Dark Side of the Ring episode.
I watched some of it because that hilarious ass bit. What he did wasn't funny. What he said, I have a very dark sense of humor, made me chuckle. Because New Jack was talking about that scaffold match. And if you're not a wrestling fan, look up New Jack scaffold match. It'll pop up. It'll be like the first result. He tases this dude up there because he cracked Jack's skull open. And
like a year before.
The guy looks up at him and says, "Jack, I can't feel my legs." He's like, "You won't need them."
I got you. And he openly admits till the day he died that I was trying. They had like 100 tables, like 50-something tables set up in the middle of the ring. He hit one because he tossed him so hard he was trying to throw him onto the ring post. He's like, I was trying to kill that mother.
Hey, bro. Are you going to be performing at the next comedy event for LRL Strength and Conditioning?
Yes, I'm working on finding transportation currently, but I do want to do that show, whether or not they'll let me do both. Because I would love it if I could perform and then immediately be like, all right, give me the mic, sweating the whole deal. I'll wear my gear. I don't care. And I'll perform straight up.
We should do stand-up comedy in the fucking ring.
That would be amazing.
Like get up on
That
the
would be
ropes and like
amazing.
do stand-up comedy, standing on the ropes and on like the announce table and shit. Just like,
That would be amazing.
bro, first comedy special should be in a fucking wrestling ring. Like you're in front of a crowd like it's an actual wrestling event, and you're walking up and down the rampway talking to them and shit.
I've done shows where they've taken the ropes off the ring and had bands perform on in the ring like as a stage before a show and stuff. So like stuff like that's happened before. I think it'd be a great idea.
We need to get one of those little rings though, like Macro Wrestling has, so that like you
Oh,
can keep the ropes on and you can just talk to the audience.
and for anybody wondering what he's talking about, it was RL Strength and Conditioning are going to be hosting a family event at the Hidden Hill Event Center in Bel Air, Ohio. Is it Bel Air?
Bel Air, Ohio.
Bel Air, Ohio, where there will be face painting, balloon animals, bouncy houses, free professional wrestling show, comedy, music. It's going to be a full-on party blowout.
And then after 6 p.m., it gets a little adult and sensual in the building.
Oh yeah, I'm bringing the oil.
I have a whole bit written. I don't know how long this thing's going to take, but if I don't fill at least 5 minutes with my story, which I probably won't, but with my new story I'm working on, I'll just throw in some old shit, some new shit, and just call it a night, dude. That's how I write comedy. Is I have a mental filing cabinet.
Mm.
I will write shit down, but then I'll be like, I'll go back to it. I'm like, okay, as I'm preparing to perform, I'm coming up with what's already there.
Yeah, you got to edit. Like even when you're on stage, like at least when I perform. Remember, I've only done it once, but I am interested in doing a lot more. Contact me. But I will say, like you have the whole layout in your head, but then you get that mic in your hand, the lights are in your face, and next thing you know, you're editing as you go. So there is a little bit of improvisation in there as well.
And you have to, because you can't come up in your head what the crowd is going to be like.
Yeah.
You can't. And there are comics that do script, like you have to have something that you're going to say. You have to have some kind of
rough draft. I would.
Yeah. Now, when you start having to fill exact minutes, then yes, you should probably have it down to a science.
That worries me because even when I'm in the ring, you get told by, and again, we've been on here before comparing music and wrestling and comedy, how a lot of these things have a very similar layout. When someone tells you, hey, you got 15 minutes, that doesn't mean go 16. That doesn't mean go 20. Like sometimes they'll let you slide. I'm not saying anybody goes over their time. But
I thought because I was under the impression that they were going to shine a light at me and let me know that I'm getting close to my time being over.
They didn't. They didn't at all.
I brought up that idea because it's easy. Because at the open mics I do, some of the people just go up there and freebase it, and they just. I don't know why I said it like it's a drug, but free bass and comedy. That's gonna be my new shirt. Free bass and comedy. I meant to say. Why did I
don't know why I thought that was so funny.
Like comedy's heroin? I don't know what the fuck I was talking about, bro. No, they freeform it is what I meant to say. But sometimes it's nice to have the 3 flashes because you never know how long it's going to take people to laugh. And
that's very true. You still there? I think. Oh, you froze for a second. Now I can't tell you how many shows I've been on where the guys have been told you got 10 to 15, and then they go 25. There was. And I'm not going to mention a whole lot of names because I don't know a whole lot of names from this story, but I was told this by my brother that he did a training camp. But everybody was told, get together, you got 10 minutes. And these 2 guys threw everything in the kitchen sink in their deal, and they went over their time, and the guy was like, okay, nothing you did. You did nothing. You basically went out there and you did flips and you did jumps and pretty much everything under the sun, but you didn't tell a story and you went over your time. And with performers in general, especially when you're working towards trying to get on TV, your time is so important. So important.
How do wrestlers know when they've got so much time when you don't have like a watch or anything?
You feel it. You kind of, again, not to blow my own horn here. I was going over stuff, and the guy I was with wanted to throw this in, that, and that, and that. I was like, whoa, no. Trim it down. And we went over everything. And I'm not somebody who needs to know every single thing we're doing, just kind of bullet points.
Yeah.
And he goes, he looks at me and goes, we got 30 minutes. How in the world? That doesn't sound like that would fill 30 minutes. Guess how long we went?
30.
Because I told him, we know there's points in there. That's why I say it's improv. You need to go with the flow a little bit. You feel it more than anything. Now, I've been on shows where they'll have the ring announcer do like 5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes or whatever, and guys will use their cues that way. But I feel like it's better to kind of feel it and know where you're going with your feelings.
So, bro, I always thought it was the referee, and it might be in WWE, but I always thought the referee.
In some of the bigger places, yeah. But like in the independents, the referees told the same thing you are and is out there pretty much keeping, you know what I mean? There's no, the places with money, yeah, you'll see your pieces. They'll have their cues or ways to know, but a lot of them are just kind of out there with you.
So are all wrestling promotions, is the referee in on the finish and how the match is entirely going to go?
I can neither confirm or deny any of that due to the fact that the wrestling mafia may have me strung up if I do.
Because I've always
wait, did I say that?
I've always wondered because like sometimes the referees like count to 3 anyway.
I'll say it like this. You don't want to know how the magic trick's done completely.
Yeah.
But if something happens, I'll tell you this much, the ref is told, count it. If the guy doesn't kick out or if something's going on and doesn't matter, count it.
So I got a question. This is a weird one because it just hit my brain. Not really weird, but it's like an interesting memory I remember. I have a vague memory of Owen Hart winning the WWF championship. Like
I believe it was it was what we call in the biz a dusty finish. Like he won the belt, but then the decision got reversed, match got restarted, something like that. He never won the title. But there was a house show, they did a DVD or not a DVD, but a VHS where he did wrestle Brett, did technically beat him for the title, but didn't.
That's stupid. That man, if he would have...
Owen deserves so much more than he got. Legit.
If he would have survived, like if he would not have done that whole thing, the whole thing wouldn't have happened. I think Owen would have surpassed Brett.
See, it's really hard because Owen was talking about being done before what happened to him happened. Like he was saying he didn't want to be doing it too much longer because he wanted to spend time with his family.
Didn't he say
whether 40? Or not
when he
something like that.
He would have something like that. Years. He would have had like 5 years because he died at like 35. Dude. Oh shit.
Yeah, especially in wrestling, those 5 years, you think 5 years is a lot of time. It really isn't. It goes very quickly.
It does, but do you think Owen would have eventually have jumped ship to WCW?
I don't think. I think he would have just been like, hey, I made my money. I want to be there for my kids. Maybe if the money was right, he would have popped in it for a deal here or there, but nothing full-time anymore. And again, as a family man myself, I completely understand that.
But do you think the Blue Blazer thing would have went much longer? I think that was like a temporary thing, just to punish Owen for something and then bring him back as Owen.
I think the Blazer, and again, you hear stories from here, there, and everywhere about what the Blazer was and whose idea it was for him to dust off the Blue Blazer, because that was his original character when he...
Wasn't he in Stampede Wrestling when he came out with Blue Blazer?
I believe the Blazer did start in Stampede, but he did bring it to WWF originally because he didn't want to be everybody to go, oh, well, you're Brett's brother, so obviously you're going to be great. He's like, no, I want to stand on my own 2 feet, which I completely understand.
Well, I heard allegedly, I forget where I read this, but the idea for Owen is he was going to win the Intercontinental title off the Godfather. He was
Yeah.
going to drop it, and then he was supposed to start a feud with I forget who, but it was for the WWF title, and then he would have became Owen the Game Hart. The whole gimmick was designed for Owen originally. Was the story I heard.
But you right there, it's a story, so you really don't know like how much of it was true because they say there's a little bit of truth in almost every lie. So it's hard to say whether or not that was legit or not.
What's up, Anthony? This is my buddy D.A. Morris. Jack hasn't made it yet, but Anthony Bruce says hi to you anyway, Jack.
Hey, what's up, Anthony?
Sorry.
Greetings from the main effing man. What's up?
I should probably do this because I do have in the description that it's Jack.
Holy snap! I've been doing this show with you for like what, a month now, and I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, I can do a lot of things, dude. Like I'm like, watch this. I can like make me like huge. Hello, what's up? I can like do all kinds of stuff. I could pop up.
Hey, do that one more time. Do that one more time.
Make you big.
No. Flip to you real quick.
What up? Oh, you have nice man dangos there, bro. Look at that.
Oh,
that's a nice nipple. Sorry.
I was being goofy.
No,
but I do got a very decent chest tattoo going on.
Is that 2 dragons?
Yep, dragon skulls. And then if you're familiar with Power Rangers, that is Lord Bracken's power coin in the center. I want to get more done with it, but for now, this is what I'm rocking.
Did you ever watch the adult? Like it was like geared more towards adults, but the movie that came out.
I've seen the movie. I've seen fan films. By the way, not related to this at all. Not paid to say this. I'm a huge fan. If you want to watch some really good fan-made Power Ranger stuff, look up Power Rangers Unworthy. It is awesome.
Why don't they make any Power Rangers for adults other than that one movie, dude?
Mainly because the draw just ain't there. Right now, there's a big thing going on with Power Rangers where like Hasbro just gave up a license for the show or the toy deal or something like that. All their production is stopped. There was talks of a Netflix reboot that apparently isn't happening now. So a lot of Power Ranger stuff that we were promised isn't going to happen. And as a fan, I think that really sucks because I've literally grown up with the show, and to see it kind of end when there's still so much that can be done with it, it's really sad.
And then we have to wait 80 years for it to go into the public domain. Me and you can be like we need to live to be 120 so we can come out with a new Power Ranger series. 80 years.
Power Rangers Ancient Force.
Power Rangers.
Where am I? Where are you people? Get out of my house.
Dude, Power Rangers was a shit back in the day, though. What wasn't it? Goddamn.
Oh, dude. Again, I don't know how well you can see this on camera, but I do have the Green Ranger power coin tattooed on my arm and the White Ranger power coin right above it.
Was you into watching Adult Swim?
Yeah, I like Adult Swim.
Did you ever watch Metalocalypse?
I did not, but that's because even though I enjoy a little bit of every type of music, it just didn't appeal to me.
Dude, I love that.
I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's good. I'm probably going to have to check it out.
I saw Death Clock in concert recently, dude. And
nice.
I love death metal, but like I don't know why. And it might just be my brain's wired fucked up. You've been learning.
Hey, dude, that's why we get along, because mine's fucked up too.
Mine's not really wired. My favorite death metal band of all time doesn't even exist. Death Club. They're not real.
True. I know I'll probably get hate for this, but I do enjoy Nickelback, and I have seen them perform live, and they are a hell of a show. I enjoyed their music. Hate me if you want to. I'm used to it.
Nickelback has some of the best B tracks ever. Their first two
Thank
albums,
you. Thank you.
Their first two albums was straight up 90s grunge rock.
Damn right. Like their last new album that I bought, because they did come out with one recently, like I want to say like last year, which I have heard pretty much the whole album, but when we went and saw them live, me and my girl, they were plugging Feed the Machine, and that album is just banger after banger after banger.
This pisses a lot of people off when you remind them of this, but do you know who it's fun pissing off metalheads, especially the ones that are gatekeepers.
Oh yeah, gatekeeping anywhere sucks dick.
The singer of Nickelback, Chad Kroeger, was best friends with Pantera's Dimebag Darrell.
Again, these are the same people who will like talk about Nirvana like it's the greatest band ever, but only know Smells Like Teen Spirit. So fuck them.
I love Nirvana.
Nirvana's great.
It pisses me off because they don't know the good ones. Because Smells Like Teen Spirit is like Nirvana's School's Out by Alice Cooper. And by that, I'm
still great song, great album, but they do have more good stuff. They really do.
Ever listen to Alice Cooper?
I've seen Alice Cooper perform live, motherfucker.
I've seen him 20 times, motherfucker.
Yeah, nice. Alice Cooper is a hell of a performer. I love his music. I was watching Wayne's World earlier today, and there's that bit where they go to Alice Cooper, and I was singing, "Feed my Frankenstein."
Alice Cooper is one of the most, if not the most influential musician of all time.
Yep.
No Alice Cooper, there would be no Kiss, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but there'd be no.
I don't mind certain Kiss I like. Not all of them, but "Boys Are Back in Town" by Kiss is so great.
I'm just trolling. I just like pissing people off.
Now you want to talk about the greatest band of all time? Legitimately, the greatest band of all time. It is the band that I'm in with another wrestler by the name of Slice. What up, Slice? Love you, brother. We are the Cannibal Unicorn, and we have one rule, and that rule is we never play. But we are in a band.
What genre are you? Like polka death metal? That'd be fucking rad.
Like if people have asked me, do you play? Because the tattoos, the long hair, the beard. People are like, do you play? I go, yeah, I'm just no good.
Do you play with myself? Like,
no, it was a running gag. Me and a buddy of mine came up with. It's like, oh, we'll tell people we're in a band, but our one rule, we never play.
So there is a band that I found, and I decided, me medicated at night, which always happens. I'm going to Google.
How dare you?
I'm going to Google two genres together that possibly could never exist.
My cat just jumped on my table and the whole thing went. I'm surprised my camera. Oh, there he is.
So there's this band. As I'm on Google, I'm so high that like I could hijack a plane. I don't know. I was pretty high. I decided to Google two music genres together that shouldn't belong, just to see if it exists. I looked up polka metal.
All right, Weird Al.
It exists.
Oh, I bet it does. Like, I'm sorry, but music is the universal language. So, have you seen like there's videos? What up? What up? If you look up, there's videos of people doing like death metal covers of like Taylor Swift songs, and some of them are better than Taylor Swift.
You know what makes this band even better? They're a polka. Well, they're a polka metal / punk. They do both. They're a polka metal punk band from Russia, I do believe, or Ukraine, one of the
Oh,
other.
so in Russia, music, fuck you.
I think it's Ukraine because a lot of their music is like making fun of Russia.
I see.
So I think because they recently broke up because of the whole war.
Yeah, with everything going on. Yeah, we're not trying to get too politicky up in here, but I get what you're saying.
And I'll talk politics, but people won't like me. That's
Same. It actually, I want to bring this up. Wait a minute. You just remind me this. So I was on Facebook and something came up and there was a picture of this pastor wearing a rainbow deal, marrying two guys.
Yeah.
And it said on there, if you're doing this, you're not a real pastor and that ain't a real church. I am so fucking sick and tired. Like, why the hell do you care? Why the hell do people care? Because who anyone goes to bed with is none of your business. It's none of my business. And I'm as straight as a stripper pole, brother. I'm not gay by any means, but I recognize everybody's right to be happy. So who am I to say, you can't do this or you can't do that?
I'm sorry, dude, but like a real priest, if you want to see what a real priest does to kids, go and Google.
That came out of nowhere.
Like, who are you to fucking judge who a real priest is?
Right? Like I said, man, it's just people.
You ignore that shit, but you're mad about a priest marrying a gay couple.
That's what I mean.
But like,
that's what I mean. As long as your love life ain't hurting nobody, like, if you're in a relationship that is consensual, that everybody's of age and nobody's getting hurt, nobody's being held hostage, nobody's being threatened or whatever, who cares?
No animals.
Yeah, no animals. Sorry. You got to at least be able to somewhat talk to each other.
Well, I don't know about all that. You can do sign language. Because I know deaf people, they still get down.
Oh yeah. This counts as talking, brother.
So you're saying apes, chimpanzees, and gorillas are okay because they can speak sign language?
Hey, if you listen to Robin Williams, one made a move on him, so apparently they're down with it too. I'm not approving of anything. Don't put words in my mouth, though. But
I love Robin Williams. Did you hear that?
I missed him.
Did you hear that story about how when Sharon Osbourne was having her battle, she was in the hospital and she was all drugged up because they were trying to like cure her. Well, she said she came back from like a real high stupor and she thought she was in like a fever dream. Robin Williams was standing there dressed up like Patch Adams because that was her favorite movie. It was acting like the doctor and like fucking around the room and shit. That life.
And since we brought up Robin Williams, remember everybody watching, it is Men's Mental Health Awareness. If there's men that you love, men you care about, heck, you know what? Screw the men thing. If there's anyone you know that you love and care about, make sure you check in on them. Make sure everybody you know and care about gets that support from you because they might not be getting it from where they should be getting it from. As somebody who does suffer, and without going too far into details on a lot of stuff, I have cerebral palsy. I suffer from a lot of mental issues as well, probably because of brain damage and all this other stuff that I deal with. And I cannot tell you how much the love and support of people around me means to me. So please, I'm asking anybody, if you have someone you care about, please check in on them regularly. Back to the funny stuff.
And you don't know, and we can go serious too. You don't know what a person is internally suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm down with sharing a month. I hate when people are like, it's Men's Mental Health Month, fuck gay pride or whatever. I'm like, no, we can share a month. So happy pride, happy mental health, because both.
And here's the thing, it's called Pride Month, which means be proud in who you are. That means that doesn't mean if you're gay. That means if you're straight, gay, bi, whatever it is, you fall under that. Be proud of who you are as a person. That is what that is supposed to mean.
You know how many times I've been told I'm going to hell from a
Same.
preacher. However, I go to gay pride, one of the only straight men there, and they fucking love me. Perhaps they might be trying to fuck me, but like some of them might have a chance. Like I'm not saying.
Hey,
There's some
in the words of Gabriel Iglesias, you got to tell your wife, "Hey, watch it. I got options,
dude. Like,
I want to go to gay bars just to freaking get free drinks, but no one's willing to go with me."
I've been. I kind of feel like a woman in that situation, like getting hit on heavily.
I was mistaken. There was one time I went to a gay bar, and we saw an artist by the name of Aurelio Voltaire. And if you haven't heard his stuff, look him up, especially his song Brains from Billy and Mandy. The dude is a fantastic artist.
That guy? That's badass, dude. You got to see him?
Not only did I get to see him perform live, but during one of his last songs, he asked anybody who knows the words to get on stage. And guess who got on stage right behind him?
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
He great performer, awesome show. And it was small, very intimate, but boy, people were just loving it. And that's what I love about music, because it doesn't matter you're gay, straight, black, white, whatever. Music can unite everybody. A lot like comedy, a lot like wrestling.
It can. And can we also openly admit as a society that it's okay to admit that some of our idols, if not all of them, might be pieces of shit?
All I'll say about it is it's amazing how much people look up to just people. Just to figure out later on, like Bill Cosby is a perfect example. So many people looked up to him as the ideal father, just to realize you shouldn't let him around your daughters by any means.
Like gynecologist was not a good profession for him.
Really wasn't.
The Cosby Show, that was his job.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It was like, ew. But that's what I mean. That's why, and again, I'm religious in the sense of like, I believe in the core values. Yeah. Treat people the way you want to be treated, love each other, care about each other, don't value your physical possession, stuff like that. So it's just one of those things where, like, I don't idolize anyone. If I can say it like that, I fanboyed over people before, like, holy cow, I can't believe I've met them. But you got to remember, at the end of the day, we're all flesh and blood. We're all human, and we're all prone to mistakes and F-ups and whatever. So
do you put yourself, like, when it comes to a situation, would you put yourself above the other people so that you're happy?
Absolutely not.
Good.
I
was trying to figure out what religion that would be. That's why I'm trying to like pinpoint.
No, it's part of the reason why my girl has admitted that she loves me to death, and I put my kids above myself. And if I could help everyone, I would. It's not a matter of not wanting to. It's the ability of being able to, because I find no value in money. It's what you do with it, and I'd rather help people. But of course, someone like me don't have 2 pennies to rub together.
I feel you, because right now I am sitting on a pretty hefty debt because I just help people. And like, it's not going to stop me from helping people.
I find value in my relationships and being what I would consider a 100% real motherfucker, and that is with a PH.
Real has a PH?
No, fuck it.
Just fucking with you. Fuck. That's Ralph, bro. That's
my bad.
That's as Ralph spelt funny. That's fucking... Oh, by the way, we're keeping people on edge. 50 minutes in, we still haven't named our favorite wrestling stable.
Oh snap! We got way off topic. Okay, So I can't say the Black Sheep Society because I'm in that group, but I would say my favorite wrestling group of all time. I got to give it to Evolution
That was
for the theme song alone. I got to give it to Evolution. Then the concept of the group was just fantastic. Did it go on too long? Absolutely. Was Triple H on the show everywhere and took over the place a little too much? Absolutely. But look what they were, and look what they ended up doing. Look who they ended up establishing, and tell me they weren't a great group.
And from my understanding, Ric Flair wasn't really planned to wrestle well with Evolution, but he did.
Mm-hmm.
He would want to stay retired.
He was very down on himself, and he said many times in interviews that it was Triple H who kind of gave him that confidence to get back in there and show that he was still the Nature Boy.
Yeah, and it's wild to think of, but like Evolution happened, that was the perfect period. That
Plus, you
have the past, the present, and the future.
Yeah, and tell me you don't go to the gym if that song "Evolution is a Mystery" comes on. You ain't jamming.
You're not doing it right. Hold on, let me fix this.
Evolution is a mystery. Yeah, you could probably do better than me.
You got to get the Lemmy microphone where he has to look the fuck up. Hold on, let me. Evolution is a mystery. Who came as no one sees. Yeah, that.
But that Triple H has a lot of songs like that. Like even his bass song, when that comes on, "Time to Play the Game." If I'm at the gym or whatever, I'm jamming to that motherfucker. Legit.
Let's show how amazing it is, though, that Motorhead wrote 3 of Triple H's theme songs.
Okay, like Motorhead does one of my favorite covers. They did a cover of Please, what was it? Symphony of the Devil. I'm sorry, is the name of the actual song. And their cover of it hits so hard. I love it.
Have you heard their cover of fucking Enter Sandman by Metallica?
Yes. I personally like the Metallica version better, but it is still a banger.
It's a very good banger. Like Lemmy has the best covers, dude. Like it's sad that he left.
Like legit, the crazy thing I found lately is with AI and stuff, people have been doing these country songs with Hank Hill. And it's like, this stuff is better than most of the modern music out there now.
Oh, by the way, another good wrestling stable that it's never going to make any list because they never wrestled as a stable. BSK.
Bone Street Crew? Yeah. When it comes to like their influence in the business, because look at everybody who was in that backstage group. They all did great things. They all kicked ass, and they were all tough motherfuckers. The Click is another one. Personally, I would say the BWO has to be the greatest faction of all time because, in the words of Joey Styles, if there was ever a group that should have never made a dime but made a ton of money, was the BWO.
They even made money on the indies after ECW folded.
I've mentioned before, and it's still a shame that Blue Cane is not officially inducted into the BWO yet.
That should happen.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
Around. Brian, who plays the Big Blue Meanie, he's still around wrestling.
Blue Meanie's still around. Stevie's in-ring stuff's retired, but you bust out the checkbook, he'll put on the Daisy Dukes and cut a promo. Why not?
Bro, could you imagine an ECW reunion now? They're all like old as fuck or dead.
The most extreme Walker fight you will ever see.
Yeah, they're fucking like
we brought up New Jack. I feel like it's a shame New Jack didn't get to see himself reach his end goal, which was him in a wheelchair snorting coke. Damn shame.
I wanted to see him versus Iron Sheik in a street fight. That would have been fucking wild.
You'll think this is funny, but everyone else, this will scar you for life. If you look it up, New Jack did a shoot interview with Iron Sheik and Honky Tonk Man. For some reason, in the middle yeah, for some reason in the middle of the interview, they just all pull down their pants and tell everybody kiss their asses, and I'm like, okay,
And you can see Sheik's balls. You can see
right?
it's like fucking just hanging there, like two fucking big ass grapes. You're just
Like that. That's more than those guys. Like, and you see those guys in their freaking wrestling gear, and it's like that's more than I'd ever wanted to see at any of them.
No, thanks. I didn't know till recently that Iron Sheik was wrestling up until he was wheelchair bound. Like he was still having matches.
Nothing I'd seen, but I wouldn't surprise me. By the way, there is a YouTube channel I think you would really enjoy, and I'm gonna do it.
Before I interrupt, I need to promote something. I just remembered. Sorry.
What? Hold on. Plug.
We promoted all strength and conditioning, so I do have to promote. I'm going to be before the summer bash. I'm going to be at OVDJ Summer Fest at Jacobsburg, Ohio, July 13th. Go on Facebook, buy tickets. It's a 2-day festival. It's an EDM DJ festival, and there's going to be like the council's going to be performing, and he wanted me to be one of the first comics. I think the first comic to be put on the bill.
That's awesome. Congrats.
So, thank you. OVDJ is amazing. Friends of mine, they're great.
The council kick ass. Like I'm not a huge hip hop guy, but man, they know how to put on a good show.
Those guys are great too. They're good friends of mine as well. They just started doing the council, which is awesome. They've been around, but it's like that's their new thing they're doing for anybody right. Confused. I didn't want to like.
No, you're good. And since we're doing cheap plugs, I got so much stuff going on. I'm doing Fight Night Wrestling in Akron, Ohio, come the 23rd of this month. So it's coming up quick. And then July 3rd, Tyler Grayson, it's me and you, Daddy. 1-on-1, brother. At the Charleroi Market House, Charleroi, Pennsylvania. Start time at 6 p.m. All seats are $20. You get the whole chair, but all you need is the edge, Daddy. And then we got other stuff going on.
You just did Superstar Billy Graham and Razor Ramon like as one person. You just
if you're interested in anything going on with Mon Valley Pro Wrestling, make sure you go over to Facebook, check up Mon Valley. It's a big MVP wrestling picture. You can't miss it. They have all their events posted. It's this summer. We're all over the place. It's insane.
You guys are incredible. Sorry, I was listening. I was fighting a gnat. He was like,
"You're good."
Woo! And I'm like, "Oh, squirrel."
You're good.
I'm going to be also, if you want to come out and try to do open mic comedy, they're going to have an open mic comedy night the last Wednesday of the month. I'm sorry you live.
I'm trying to find a ride for that.
I'm trying to see if I got any friends in Washington. I know my buddy Jack's going to be performing, but I think he lives on a different part of West Virginia than you. Like I think he's like an hour from you. I think maybe I could ask him.
Yeah, I'm at
Morgantown.
Not far. I live at the very top of West Virginia, so it's not very far from me. Like it's weird because like I'm an hour away from everything. It feels like.
Well, I can ask Jack if he don't mind, and
I'll make sure you get details and everything when we get off the air because I don't want to give out my home address, live.
It's okay.
All right. So
no, don't do that. We don't want to have like an Ashley Massaro incident where she gives out her number on fucking national television.
From Bumfucked Egypt. Yeah, for real. But we'll talk after we get off, and I'll
Can you admire how many fucking wrestlers were from either Truth or Consequence, New Mexico, or Death Valley? There's a lot.
Okay, I don't know if I'm still marketed from here or not, but I've marketed myself from Silent Hill, West Virginia before. So I think I should keep that one, to be honest with you. But
Wrong time, West Virginia.
Those movies are fucked up, and I love it.
Aren't those the ones that are supposedly based on true events that happened in West Virginia?
Who knows, bro? I do know that there's like 8 of them. Me and my girl watched like 4 of them, and they are fun movies. They're horror schlock, but they're fun.
You know what I've learned about them, like country states? You know what I mean? Like what I've really learned. The cities are amazing. The people are sometimes, more welcoming than you see publicly. But if you hear banjo music, you've driven too far into that fucking country. You've driven
Now,
too far into that fucking
again, from West Virginia, lived here most of my life. But I'm on the border of like Ohio, so like I'm closer to Ohio than I am the farther states of West Virginia. I went to a show with a buddy of mine, and I didn't think that accent bullshit was still a thing. But no, you get down there, how y'all doing right now? I'm going down and get it right now, don't you know? I'm a tough son bitch. I like that ration. Legit, it's crazy.
Bro, you met the real life Boomhauer.
No. And sorry, Mom, but Mom, I do know somebody who does talk like this. Let me tell you right now. Let me go down there and let me tell you.
What is he saying?
He's saying I'm laying right now. I'm gonna go down there and go get your legs.
He sounded like a broken chainsaw.
Legit, the guy talks like that.
He sounds like a drunken auctioneer, bro.
Yeah, and you better believe that is in my stand-up set somewhere. Is that?
Here's a little taste of something I'm adding to my set. I'm actually going to be talking about my journey on OnlyFans.
Which, by the way, if you're not subbed to his OnlyFans, very tasteful.
It's the way that I'm doing it is like I'm tired of shit being taken down, but I'm also tired of people complaining. They're like, "You're not wearing enough clothes." Well, then, fuck, I'm gonna create a place. Like, you're not gonna see my dong or nothing on the main wall, but like I can post if like I'm feeling attractive, like me shirtless or whatever. Nobody fucking say anything.
I'm so attractive. I'm letting grown men grope me in a wrestling ring. That's how attractive I am.
Bro, that's like a new level of comfortable with your sexuality that I don't even want to talk about. Like that's.
I am not kidding you. I've been, and again, not going to give names because this was kind of shit. I have seen guys chase other dudes around locker rooms buck naked. I was cornered by one guy to help scrub his back.
Was his name Pat Patterson?
No, I'm not going to say his name because he doesn't deserve the plug right now. Sorry, brother. But those who know. He comes out of we were in a school. We were out of school, so there were showers in the locker room. And he comes out buck naked and goes, "Hey, can someone please help me scrub my back?" And he comes over and just corners me. Will not let me leave until I scrubbed his back. Like, it was one of the most fucked up things that ever happened to me.
You probably should have sued or something.
Yeah. The way I looked at it, boys being boys, you try.
That's a
or gay chicken, as it's called amongst most of us.
Well, I've played gay chicken before, but it got weird after we like adopted our 3rd child and was living together. Like, I'm like, I give up. Like, we've been doing this for 10 years. Like, what the
I've legitimately just been talking to guys in the locker room, and if it's somebody I know really well that we're friends and he knows I'm messing with him, I'll sit in his lap and be like, "What's up?"
See, it's weird to say because like I don't judge people for who they are, but you're not free from me joking about you or making jokes. So like I used to act really gay around people that I knew were homophobic.
That's best time to do it. Best time to do it.
And then at the end of the night, I would leave with the girl he was eyeing. Not sexually, we were just friends.
Right. I can't tell you how many times I've been riding with my girl and just randomly I look at her. "Oh my God, Jessica! Like, Jesus Christ! I can't believe that bitch! Oh my Lord, Jessica!" Her name's not Jessica, by the way. So there's that one. Hold up, there's that one, and then when I'm in the store and I have to use the buggies because my cerebral palsy's acting up or whatever, I'll look at my girl and be like, "Oh, Billy! What the fuck? Your grandma was a whore, Billy! Your grandma was a whore!"
That's fucking great, dude.
Nothing funnier to me than taking one of those Walmart buggies and blasting, trying to catch me riding dirty, gonna catch me riding dirty.
You know what's weird is when it comes to songs, bro, like the Weird Al version is the first thing that comes in my head. Like if I listen to the radio, I know it's never going to be Weird Al. But if I hear a song on
Right?
the radio, I'm like, I start singing the Weird Al lyrics. Like I don't even know that song is a song anymore.
Oh, dude, like I love Weird Al. I really do. One of my favorite bands is Tenacious D.
Oh,
So
I've
like,
seen them too, bro.
I hate you so much right now.
Bro, can I
But
brag real quick? Can I brag real quick?
go right ahead.
I was front and center, right? Because I had been standing there all day. Jack Black was right in front of me. Now, next to me was this father-son duo that cover Tenacious D songs. And the name of their band is Master Exploder. And they had the sign up Master Exploder. And now Tenacious D, a little backstory, they never vocally perform that song. It's usually a track because he's not near the microphone.
Right.
Jack Black made the decision on the moment to perform that live for the first time in Pittsburgh. He pointed at me during the I did not mean to blow your mind part. He did the
I did not mean.
And he pointed at me.
It's funny you brought that song up because I was half tempted to try to use that song as my entrance music at one point. I wanted to use a Tenacious D song so much, but I just couldn't find one that really fit my motif.
Bro, you need to come out with your own Val Venus type character and come
Hello, fellas.
Could like it's a mixture of Val Venus and Godfather.
But all my hoes have to be guys.
Come get on the gay train.
I've openly said this. Professional wrestlers are, and again, I'm saying this as a professional wrestler. So, gentlemen, ladies, anybody who hears me say this, I apologize, but it's true. We are what's called in the pimping game dumb hoes, because we will abuse our bodies. We will put ourselves through hell to entertain people for very little to nothing.
Bro,
that's a dumb hoe.
I have a new stable idea.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's kind of like Raven's flock. Hear me out on this. I'm sorry to interrupt what you were saying.
Go.
But Raven had his flock, but it was called Raven's flock. This is going to be called DA's train. Now it sounds like a great idea. It's kind of like A Train or whatever his name was.
Aaron?
No, what was his name? Something Train. It was the guy that played.
There was A Train.
Yeah, A Train. It's kind of like that, but you have your own stable. It's DA's train. Now you come out kind of like The Godfather, but it's all male wrestlers. And you go in there and like, oh my God, he's running a train on him. And you guys are like running into the corner and butt smacking the wrestler, and that's called running a train on somebody.
And again, I know someone's probably going to see this podcast and steal my idea. So if you do, send me the royalty check. But I have always wanted to do a stable in wrestling based on No Ma'am from Married with Children. I'm talking about coming out in the No Ma'am shirts and the whole deal. We should start a branch of No Ma'am, but it's professional wrestlers. I think that would get over really good.
And guess who your arch enemy is? The Karens. It's
That's so good. That's so good.
The fucking Karens, bro. It's like.
Now I remember. It's funny that we brought this up because I remember I was doing a show. It was MVP. We were at the Charleroi Market House. Remember, our next show is July 3rd, 6 p.m. start time. All seats, $20. We were at the Charleroi Market House, and there was a lady in the ring cutting a promo, and the crowd really it was intermission. People really weren't paying that much attention. And I hear her go, I will fight anybody in this locker room. Without even thinking. And remember, didn't talk to her about this, nothing. I jump in the ring, get the mic off, and I say, oh, please, you ain't going to fight nobody. You ain't going to fight me. I'm a real man. Go ahead, take your best shot. And she pops, and you can find this footage online. She pops me, and the crowd goes nuts. And And she gave me a good one too. She got me good. And we get back there, and she's like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. What the heck? Why'd you do that?" I was like, "Oh, just went for it. Saw an opportunity, went for it."
That's fucking great, dude. I was at an indie show, and it's been a while since I've been at like an indie. Like I used to regular go to like a bunch of indie shows.
Indies are great. If you no matter where you live, do some research, find your local indie promotions. They're great. They're great fun.
But it's like, it's hard for me now because I got music and all this other stuff. But I went to this indie show, and now New Jack was announced. What's up, Lori? How you doing, darling? New Jack was announced along with Billy Gunn to be the two big names. Some indie companies have an occasional big name that just does autographs. No wrestling, just does autographs.
Yep.
And that's what this promotion was doing. Now, Billy Gunn did a run-in, and he was beating up the indie wrestlers, and then he got hit from behind, and you could hear him accidentally say with the microphone in his crotch, "Jesus, I thought this shit was supposed to be fake."
Billy Gunn is a hoot because I saw him at an indie show, and he just randomly stuck his ass in a grandma's face and let her fill him up. It was great. Hey, baby.
Yeah,
my dog's here.
He was Mr. Ass when he came out, like, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard he's great in the locker room, and he'll actually do run-ins when he's not even announced to be on the bill, like he did with that.
I've heard good things. I've heard good things from Billy Gunn. I really have.
The one that shocked me, though, is I was over hanging out with New Jack, because at the time I was an ECW fan. I hung out with Billy a little bit, but like at that time, there were so many people by his table, and no disrespect to New Jack, but not a lot of people in that area know New Jack.
May he rest in peace. So
we were chilling by his table, and I'm like, "Hey, New Jack, are you performing tonight?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "They're not paying me enough, whatever." And he was like, he was telling me stories about ECW days and shit. And you heard Natural Born Killers come over the fucking speaker as the wrestlers were talking shit in the ring. And New Jack stood up. The chair that he was sitting in, he folded. He ran to the ring, said, "I'll see you later, little white boy." I swear, that's what he said. He went running.
Great.
And he slid.
Great.
He smacked the dude in the fucking head, and he started beating the hell out of everyone. And then he got back over. He folded his fucking destroyed chair, and he's like, "I can't sit in that. It was nice seeing you, little white boy." And he went to the locker room.
That reminds me. I was at it. This was before I got trained. I was at an indie show with a bunch of friends who had never been to a wrestling show a day in their lives. This was the first time they'd ever been to an indie show. We were right next to the ring, no guardrails, nothing. And 5 minutes before this happened, we saw someone jump in the ring, a fan, and security had to kick him out. Well, I stand up and I start running my mouth at one of the managers because as a fan, that is your right to run your mouth and have a good time. My buddy reaches up, grabs me, and yanks me back into my chair. And about halfway through the match, I look at my brother and I go, "I think this chair is broken." Chair explodes out from under me. Everybody's laughing their asses off. It was freaking ridiculous.
That kind of reminds me of a video I saw, dude, like chairs falling apart and shit. I saw this video. It was probably one of the funniest videos I saw from that era. It was of Ozzy Osbourne at a show, and he goes to sit down in his chair, and the second he sits down, the whole fucking chair tips over with him in it, and he fucking falls over. And Zach Wild's like, "Holy shit, are you okay, boss?" Like, "What the fuck was that?"
I don't mean to cut you off or cut this short. I'm going to do one more cheap plug for Mon Valley Pro Wrestling, July 3rd, Charleroi Market House, 6 p.m. start time. Tickets are $20. The main event is going to be the main effing man, me, your MVP Masters champion, versus the scum of the earth, the pretty boy, nothing, can't do a 450, say his life green as go shit, son of a bitch, Tyler Grayson. And I'm going to kick him from pillar to post, from coast to coast, and teach him why you hail the Black Sheep Society.
I have one more thing I do want to bring up before this might make it a little long so we can add it tomorrow, but what if in an alternate universe during the whole invasion, what if an alternate universe, when they finally was able to bring the NWO in, the NWO comes out, ECW turns their back on the NWO, and the BWO comes out. And it's BWO on WWE and ECW side versus WCW's NWO.
Well, we'll definitely have to bring that up tomorrow. I want to talk about the NWO tomorrow because, again, there's so much there we could talk about. I have to go because my daughter needs me.
You're good,
But thank you for having me on tonight, and I will see you all tomorrow when I was scheduled.
Much love,
Nothing
guys.
but love. Nothing but love.
Live long, rock hard, guys.